Yo, what is up guys, I'm here hitting you up with a new CZN video. Today, let's talk about Mei Lin because I didn't cover her and a lot of you guys might want to know how to play her correctly. That's why we're talking about her. But before we jump right into this topic, quick thing in eigener Sache. Thank you guys for the love and support on the recent videos. Thank you for 7,000 subscribers on this channel. Maybe, hopefully, we can reach, that's my personal goal, 10k by the end of the year. And hey, in case you're new, subscribe. Mei Lin is actually one of the few characters where her starting cards or basic cards actually matter, the strike cards. The Flame Dragon card does not matter, you want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. But the first we want to talk about is the Flame Dragon's Jewel with its epiphanies. Hands down best option for this one, which gives you an extra 30% crit chance upon crit hit, +1 tenacity damage, 1 amber. This is by far the strongest upgrade card possible. Yes, you theoretically lose out on extra card damage, but that extra crit chance gives you more crit damage potential, which basically increases your damage. Plus also the 1 tenacity damage increases the break chance capabilities, and that 1 ember stack, which increases your damage overall. In my opinion, it is not even close. You should always go for this card here, which increases the crit chance. It's just by far the best option for her. Next up, we have the Rising Dragon. There you can do actually whatever you want with her, to be honest. If you want the highest damage output for her, you are going for the right card. 174% damage +1 hit for each passion card used for 1 turn. We all have seen the video with the 30k damage. If you want to hit for 30k, if you want to hit for 40k plus damage, then you should go for the rightmost card, because the more you spam Unity, which we will talk about in a second, the more damage you can deal with this card. Okay, this plays all into this one with a 2 mana cost card. Then obviously we got the Unity. This is the bread and butter of this build. There are a couple of options, in my opinion. It's between 2 cards. You either play the 0 upgrade, create 2 strike cards, cost 1, or it's the move on 2 basic cards to hand, cost -1 for 1 turn. Personally, in my opinion, the move on 2 basic cards to hand is the better card, because it is also a skill card, because we also have to talk about 2 things when we come to the partner point, because that is also a difference maker overall. But you want to aim for this one because it's a skill card, and it does not make your deck that big, because you want to play a thin deck when you play with Mei Lin to get as many of her strike cards, Rising Dragon card as possible, and the create 2 strike cards is your second best option. When it comes to the Spirit of the Aromata, I think it's one of her weaker cards, to be honest, but it's still there to increase your damage output. There you can go with whatever you want, to be honest. There's like not really a wrong choice overall. You could go for the Outbreak of War card, but I don't think it's that strong. I think one of the stronger options overall is for example this one here. When using a card, 1 amber on a random enemy for 1 turn, and since you're spamming a lot of cards, you can generate a lot of amber on your opponent, which increases the damage output. Outside of that, I think the best value you can get out of this card is either you go with the passion card one, or for the 30% damage increase, and try to find the Divine Epiphany to make it a 0 cost card. I think this is the highest value you can actually get out of this card, just getting a Divine Epiphany and make one of the retained cards to 0 cost card. So you're just holding it in your hand when there is a big Mei Lin turn for you, and then you throw it out, and then you spam all your cards with her. I think this is probably the best way, but you can actually not really go wrong with any of these. If you play a Fire Dragon build, then you definitely want to go with one of the left ones and not the right one. This is just for the basic card. If you want to go more for a basic card build, then you go for the rightmost one. Last but not least, you also have the Flame Dragon Sovereignty. If you're going for a more balanced deck, then you want to keep this card in your deck. It does a lot of damage. It has always elemental advantage, does a lot of damage. It has a lot of tenacity damage too. In my opinion, if you go for a Rising Dragon build, then you can just rip that card because you don't really need it. If you don't go for a Rising Dragon card, then just keep it in your deck. Now when it comes to her partner, there are like 2 best in slot for her. It's either the Scarlet one or the Marian card. This is the 2 5-star options you have. If you don't have the 5-star option, her best in slot 4-star card is going to be Lillian, which has actually a higher damage potential than a Scarlet, for example. Scarlet's damage potential at level 1, when you only have 1 copy of this card, is 50% damage increase, while Lillian has a potential 80% damage increase. So she has the highest damage potential right off the get-go when you have that card, obviously level 5. But there is a catch to it. You can only stack up the attack card damage when you use a skill card with that character. And I just discussed it. That's why I said with the Unity, you want to aim for the move onto basic cards to hand and not for the upgrade card. Because if you use Lillian, you need to use skill cards with Mei Lin. So you duplicate as many Unities as possible. The biggest chance you can potentially have where you can actually reach those 80% damage increase is by using Unities. Okay, so you need to use free Unities to get this 80% damage boost and high capacity. So that's the options you have when it comes to her partner cards. When we talk about her potentials, very simple. You want to max out her basic card and you want to max out her upgrade unique cards, because that's where all her damage comes in. Then she gets the strike cards, get an additional stack of Amber, very strong overall. Then you also want to get this upgrade here, the basic card, plus 5% Mei Lin strike damage if Mei Lin's attack is above 500, an additional 5%. So she gets 10% to her basic card damage. And this one, the unique one, you also want to have, because if Mei's attack is greater than 600, plus 4% weak point damage, and for every 50% exceeding that value, plus 1% stacking at 88%. Very strong overall, and you want to try to get this as well. She overall has very strong potentials you want to aim for. You never go wrong with maxing her out. The more you invest into her, the stronger she becomes, and it's just absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, there are two builds you can consider building her, but I think there's one that is probably most likely the best in slot for her. The set you absolutely don't want to use is the Spark of Passion. When using an upgraded card, the next 5 get 15% passion card damage boost. The problem with that, as I said in my other video, check that out with the video I uploaded yesterday about you building your characters wrong. I went in depth about how these sets work and when their effects actually trigger. This effect does not work for her because she only has like one upgrade card in her deck, so this set does not do anything, and it only triggers when she uses herself an upgrade card. So if you combo with Veronica and Veronica activates an upgrade card, this effect is not active. Only when you activate her own upgrade card, then this effect is active. That's not usable. Now when it comes to her build, as I just mentioned before, is either you go for a 4-piece Justice set, which increases her crit chance by 20%, and a 2-piece Executioner set, which gives you a 25% crit damage. This is when you play into the Rising Dragon build, because you want to max out your crit chance, right? So let's say you have this card here, you activate it, you get plus 30% crit chance. Line of Justice, you get another 20% crit chance. So now you already have plus 50% crit chance. Okay, 50%. Keep that in mind, 50% crit chance. Now you give her on slot 4, you give her a maxed out crit chance piece, and then you have a little bit of substats and stuff like that, right? Mei Lin is somewhere around 40%. Then you have maybe this one also maxed out potentially. But with this build, if you play her like this just for the potential of the Rising Dragon, you can easily reach a 100% crit chance. Easily, hands down. So if you want to go on that one where you just spam, the Line of Justice might be a good one, because you can easily just max out your crit chance and get full on crit with her Rising Dragon. Now if you want to have a more all-around build, her best build hands down is going to be 2-piece Executioner set to increase her crit damage. Then you want to have a 2-piece Blackwing set for extra attack, and you want to have a 2-piece Seth Scarab set for increase of basic card damage by 20%. So you want to play her 2-2, extra attack, extra crit damage, and extra damage for basic cards. That's hands down her most versatile build. And if you just want to play into the gimmick of the Rising Dragon, then you can go Line of Justice and 2-piece crit damage. For 4, 5, 6, what you want to do is, for Ideal, you want to give her crit chance. For 5, Desire, you want to give her passion damage. I explained that. Elemental damage is way better than giving her attack percentage. Passion damage. and slot 6 is attack percentage, okay? Those are the things you want to equip. Now, when it comes to her best team, you can do literally whatever you want. Veronica is always a great combo for Mei Lin. I also need to build a new deck for my Veronica, because I do want to get a card draw Veronica build where she just has 3 to 4 cards, not more than that, where just have repos and nothing really else, just to draw out Mei Lin's card, and you just don't need anything. Now, for the last slot, you can either opt for Mika, or you can opt for Ray, you can opt for Cass, you can opt for anything you want. I showed many times Ray works fantastic because of her effect, boosting damage of cards that cost 1 or below. But this time I want to use Mika. I want to use a more, I would say, standard team. And here we go. Let's just kick things off in Memory Fragments, level 10 difficulty, level 70 mobs. Now here we have potentially a very, very strong turn. So we have card draw. We can draw cards from other combatants. We can increase the damage. We have a unity in hand, and if we look what we have in deck, we have another unity in hand. So let's do this and see what kind of big damage we can do with this. So first I want to activate the repos, draw out the cards. Let me activate rally, boom, draw out another card. And this really, at this point in time, we don't need to activate anything else. What we're gonna do is now we want to buff the damage of our Mei once, boom. Let's activate the unity. Very important is that you're not throwing out the unity again, otherwise, because we only have 2 copies of strike. So we're gonna use our 2 copies of strike here, boom, boom. Then we use it again, get the cards back, and then we use them again. And you see the damage here. And now that we activated a couple of these cards, now we wanna use our Rising Dragon Spire, which only has 324% damage increase right now. So if you can get like good upgrades for this card, you can even get a higher damage output for the card in general. But this is the damage output we have for this card, but it already has 8 stacks. And we have the Justice build. Let's see how much damage we do and if we crit. Easy. Super easy, right? Super easy, nothing too crazy. This is just how you can build her, and that was just with 2 unities. So if we had the 3rd unity and we have a little bit more card draw mechanics and stuff like that, better deck building would be a different type of breed. I think where it becomes incredibly busted, in my opinion, if you want to go for all gas, no brakes. That's what I want to mention here in terms of team combination. If you want to go all gas, no brakes, you're gonna replace Mika with Cass, give him Nyx, have Veronica and Cass purely for card draw with like very few cards in deck. Like maybe 3-4 cards, nothing else. The purpose is when you use a card from them, it's a 0 mana card that draws out cards from your deck. And then you do all your shenanigans with your Mei. Once you're done your shenanigans, you will not even use the Rising Dragon Spire. Then the Cass comes into the play. And if you can get a divine version of not the Popite, but the Shuffle card, a divine version which makes this a 0 cast card, then you can shuffle your deck, draw new, and spam more unities, and then have an incredibly big turn where you can use your Rising Dragon from your Mei Lin with like 20 to 30 stacks, okay? Where this has like 20 to 30 stacks. Then you can get craziest amount of damage you will ever see. This team here right now with Mei, Veronica, and Cassius has potentially the highest damage output in the entire game, and is not even close when you have the right decks built for them, because then it's gonna go hog wild because you can spam so much with them. And that sums up the entire Mei Lin guide. I hope you guys enjoyed this video overall. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. And see you with the next one. Deuces.